Once upon a time in a faraway land, a little girl heard stories of magic and wonderment. It all started with my mother spending hours animatedly narrating stories to me. Stories of birds and courtiers and princes and queens, stories of wit and valor and love and dreams. Every single time there was a conflict, a savior came to salvage the situation, and they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time in a faraway land, a shy, timid 5-year-old would walk up on stage, narrate her poem, and return to her shell. At about the same time, I started learning to dance. A classical form, as was the norm, and Bharatnatyam was put to test, as my mother always knew best. Twice a week, I would realign my hands and expressions to tell the story of how Kali slayed the demon with one sharp stroke of her hand, or how a young maiden adorns herself for her lover like a flower waiting to bloom. I soon learned that stories could move. With a tap of a beat and a bat of an eyelid, stories could move. Like wind trapped in cloth and ocean waves that rise and fall, stories could move. I soon learned that stories could walk and talk too. And if you spend time with one long enough, stories could take different forms too. I took different forms as I played one role after another in my school plays. From Cinderella to Buddha's mother, and Brutus from Julius Caesar, a red gown to a disapproving frown, a vicious lie to regret in the eye, stories took different forms. My shyness received respite behind those masks as I expressed myself in someone else's garbs, for stories took different forms. Once upon a time in a faraway land, a school teacher spoke of rights and equalities to girls and boys of age 10. As a therapist, I noticed that the children could express the most dreaded episodes of their lives effortlessly through stories. They started sharing the pain of being bullied and the shame of parents getting divorced. Sometimes the difficulty was with reading, and at other times, simply sailing through high school was a journey best left unspoken. Within that counseling room, the children started sharing stories. But stories don't just take different forms, they also change forms. Soon they started writing stories that empowered them rather than making them victims of their circumstances. I made theatre with them, I sang and I danced, and as they let go of their fears, something inside them changed. I would write little notes to them and they back to me. Kudos for pushing our limits, I'd say, and they, thank you for making it easy. A little bit of their love always stayed with me. As with each handwritten note, our stories changed forms. Once upon a time in a faraway land, the little girl knew she had to write her own life plan. I decided to write my own book of adventures and realize my dreams. For now, my story needed to be told. But the struggles appeared larger than any I had ever read, like a cyclone turning my life inside out. As I stood at the cusp of my dreams and my marriage, the choice was easy. Sometimes you've got to leave the high tower to find yourself again. And as I broke free, I said to myself, you are the hero of your story. You are the damsel in shining armor. The evil stepmother is none other than societal rules that do not respect your individuality. The stepsisters are the naysayers, and you're sure to find one too many. The fairy godmother is that little voice, both inside and outside, that eggs you on, saying, go on, you can do it. And as I stayed dancing beyond midnight, I realized that I needed those glass slippers no more. For now, my story needed to be told. Once upon a time in a faraway... Oh no, wait! Right here, in this very moment, there is no need of a mask or a magical land. For now, my story is being told. Right here, this moment has come alive enough for me to feel my shaking legs and the lump in my throat. For now, my story is being told. There is no need of once upon a time of faraway lands, of fancy words to express myself. For now, my story is being told. In this moment, as our worlds come together, there is a lightness in the air, a sense of freeing. For the art of performance is the journey from thought to being.